Top 5 reasons you get sent home by Prime before you get your CDL. Number one is pretty much being Prime material. That means like maybe you stole something from the cafeteria, maybe you stole something from the gift shop, maybe you were unprofessional, maybe you got into a sexual harassment thing, maybe you didn't show up on time, maybe you were late a lot during training, maybe you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. So all of this is pretty much Prime's way of saying that you're not Prime material. So remember, you're representing the company, and if you're out there at a restaurant acting a fool, wearing Prime gear, Prime hats, Prime IDs, it's going to come back to Prime, and it's going to make the company look bad. So they will send you home if you're acting unprofessional and you're being reckless out there with Prime gear on and stuff like that, because you're representing the company. If you go with your trainer over the road or sometime during this first step before you get your CDL, then you're representing the company while you're at shippers and stuff. You know, Prime doesn't want a phone call about like your student over here was very rude or said something they shouldn't have. Like, I've had students before say stuff to shippers that I didn't agree with. I was all like, shh, just chill. You know, like I'm like, hey, look, we represent the company. Whenever you're getting mad, you shouldn't even be the one getting mad, but you're getting mad because we had a set here for so long. I mean, like, you know, we're representing the company. It's, you know, maybe they are behind for the day, so we're going to have to wait longer, whatever it is. You're not going to act unprofessional and get mad and try to yell at people. We're professional drivers for a reason. So, you know, number one still, you know, is Prime material. They're going to let you go because you're not Prime material. You're not a professional. You're not representing the company in a good way. You're not doing what you should do. Number two, you don't pass your CDL test. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to pass that CDL test. So you really need to be involved, or you need to really have your head in the game for that CDL test. You know, you got to get your nerves in check. We need you to be ready for a test. So I've seen people go home for failing the test too many times. You know, in this, some people, it's nerves. They're just so nervous that they can't focus and can't do what's needed. I've even had somebody pass out before the test. You know, if you black out, we really don't need you behind the wheel. So, I mean, like, somebody's so nervous that they pass out before a test, we can't really put you behind the wheel. What if you get nervous out there over the road and you pass out behind the wheel? So that's another reason. If you can't pass your pre-trip, obviously you're not studying it enough. I've had people that came to the test, they were not studying their pre-trip. They didn't have their heart into this. You have to have pretty much your heart into this. You got to put everything you got into studying and trying your hardest. I've also seen people fail at the backing and get sent home over the backing. And pretty much, you know, they can do it with their trainer out there on the pad. They can do it during the eval. But whenever it comes to the test, like I said before, the nerves, maybe it's the nerves or just their anxiety, whatever it is, they can't prepare themselves for that backing test and they mess it up and they get sent home over that. The road test, I don't understand how, like, you made it all the way to the road test and you're so worried and so nervous that you can't pass the road test. You keep running over curbs, you're not paying attention to signs, you're not stopping at stop signs, you're not following traffic laws, because, you know, that's a big part of truck driving, is being alert to everything that's going around you and being ready for it. So there again, You know, it's a lot to deal with nerves. You know, we got to have you confident. You need to be confident in the decisions you make over the road. We don't want anyone making a mistake because they weren't confident. Hesitation's a big factor over the road. A lot of people will hesitate in making turns or stuff like that, and they'll hit curbs. You need to be real confident in your drive. You need to be confident in your test. You need to get through this test so you can obtain your CDL and keep on going. Number 3 is being honest on your application. So if you have tickets that you might have not put in on your first application and you come all the way to orientation and you fill out your new application and they're going to tell you, be honest on your application. So you need to be honest on it. A lot of times people are not honest on it and they try not to put down everything they need to put down for that application. Their Prime's going to find out about it. And, you know, it might prevent you from getting the job because you're pretty much lying on the application. You're not being truthful. So on that application, the first one you do, also they're going to run a little bit of a smaller background check, like a real quick one, just to make sure. It's a real short one. They'll send it out just to see if any red flags pop up. The next one, when you get in orientation, is going to be a serious one. Like, it's going to look up everything. So you need to make sure that you put everything down on the first application. We don't want, Prime does not want any surprises, and they're not doing it. To them, you're being dishonest. And, you know, we take a lot of pride in the Prime and the company, so we don't want dishonest people here. Also, you know, if you put down people for referrals and stuff like that, you want to let those people know. I mean, I've heard of people getting sent home because they put people down for a referral. When they called that person for a referral, they really didn't tell that person, or maybe that person just did not like them, but they gave them a really, really bad reference. So make sure, or I've also heard of people not getting the references clear, referrals cleared, like people won't answer the phone. Kind of make sure that they're going to answer the phone. Job history. I've heard of people making up stuff on job history. They are going to call your job. They're going to check your job history. They're going to make sure that you're honest on it. So being dishonest on the application, that's number 3. If you're not honest on that application, Prime's going to send you home. I mean, it's plain and simple. Why should we keep somebody that's being dishonest on the application? Number 4 is going to be alcohol. Prime has a 0 tolerance policy on a student consuming any kind of alcoholic beverage. Like 0 tolerance. And that goes for when you're on your trainer's truck. That goes for some reason if your trainer lets you go home for one night. Say y'all were delivering a load in the area you live, and he was all like, "Oh, you live here? Oh, you can just go home for one night." If you're out drinking that night and Prime finds out about it, they're gonna send you home. If you're in the classes during orientation and you Uber to a bar, you know, somebody's going to report that and Prime's going to find out about it. We do not want to have our students having any type of alcohol during the training process. It's 0 tolerance. So people are getting sent home because they can't help themselves and they don't have, I guess, willpower, and they will go out and have a couple drinks. You are 21 of age or older, so, you know, it's perfectly legal, but Prime said that they have 0 tolerance for it. So if you're out there drinking and acting a fool, Prime's going to find out about it. They're going to send you home. They're not playing. Whenever they talk about anything you ever hear with Prime that's a 0 tolerance, you better pay attention because they are dead serious. Like, no playing around. They will send you home and not think twice about it. You haven't even got a job yet. It's easy to send somebody home before they even got a job. So just remember, whenever you come out here, you're gonna come out here. I would stop. I wouldn't even have a drink like a couple days before you come out here. Make sure that you don't even think about it. You know, your friend might get sent home during the process, and he might invite you out for a drink because he's catching a bus. Don't go. Zero tolerance. I had a kid in my class. His buddy they rode the bus together. They came down to Springfield, Missouri, and they came to Prime. He got sent home, so his buddy said, hey man, let's go out to eat tonight at Applebee's up the road. So they're all like, okay. Went over there, they met up at Applebee's. The one that was still here and the one that got fired, they both were having a drink. Ends up that they both got sent home. Well, the one guy was getting sent home anyways, but the other guy got sent home too. So make sure that you're not having any type of alcohol drink. Number 5 is pretty much you fail a drug test. So at any time during your process of your application and everything, you can have a random drug test. I've had 2 students that had a random drug test while they were on my truck. They both passed. Also, when you come to Prime, you're going to take a drug test. So, you know, before you even apply, you better not be on any type of drugs. You know, even if it's legal in your state. Say you're from, we'll pick randomly, Colorado, and it's legal there. Just because it's legal there, or really is the law looks the other way is kind of what it is, but because the federal government still says that it's illegal. So you got to think about that you can't just do drugs after you take your first drug test that you take for your medical card, and then you decide that you're going to do drugs because it's legal in your state, and then come to Prime. Guess what? You got another drug test. Once you become a CDL holder, or once you come to Prime, it's best to just leave that stuff alone. Don't do it no more, because it affects your job. And with the clearinghouse, it's going to affect you for pretty much the whole time you have your CDL, because everything's going to be tracked now. Do you really want to be tracked and red flagged for drug usage? So just remember, kids, drugs are bad. Just remember, drugs are bad. But this is the 5 reasons that people are getting sent home from Prime throughout orientation. This is my list. This is my top 5 list. And I just wanted to inform you that this is the reason that people are getting sent home. They're not just sending people home over here for the fun of it. There are reasons people are getting sent home. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment, ask me questions, whatever you want. If you're looking at me for a trainer, or if I influenced you to come to Prime, look in the description. I have a link in there for how to put me down as a referral and how to get me as a trainer. It's going to have some steps, or it's going to have the instructions on how to get me as your trainer. This is my top 5 reasons that you would get sent home before you obtain your CDL.